Welcome to Xtreme Scream Park here in Melton Mowbray, here at Twin Lakes. And we're a regular visitor to Twin Lakes over the last few years now, and it is home to some of our favourite mazes, and it's undoubtedly one of the best scare attractions in the UK. And it is also one of the only ones that's operating for 2020. There are a few around the country, but some of the big ones have shut. Well, this one is cracking on, and it's cracking on with the 5 mazes, including a brand new one as well. Now, the mazes that are available we'll go into when we get inside, and I'm sure we'll still get a little leaflet. If not, we're going to get a little card, I imagine, to tick off to show you which one's there. Now, there are 5 mazes at the park, and whilst we'll go into them when we get in, we will tell you now we are not going to be doing Hoodoo Voodoo today. With the mass restrictions on at the moment and the ever escalating numbers, we've decided that Hoodoo Voodoo is not one that we want to do. And I don't want to do it for a couple of reasons. One, I'm not actually worried about the bag over the head, blindfold over the head or anything like that. I'm not worried about that. I know there's been a lot of reports, people saying that they're supposed to be single usage and that they've actually taken them back at the end after being kept. I'm not too worried about that. I'm pretty sure in the past, you know, it's the same concerns. It may not be such a deadly disease going around, but the same concerns about hygiene and these things were being washed. So I'm only moderately concerned about that. My biggest concern is the fact that you are required to touch a rope continuously for the first half of the maze, which is just not something I want to do. You know, with virus living on fabrics, doesn't matter. Again, I'm not going to get into how people think it's, you know, how deadly they think it is, etc, etc. That's not what it's about. But for me personally, I don't want to be following one of these ropes that everybody that is visiting Xtreme Scream Park is touching, and obviously it can't be cleaned. So that is the reason we're not doing Hoodoo Voodoo. I'll get that one out of the way early. We will show you it, and we'll show you as much as we can of it. But in terms of us going in, or in terms of me going in, it's not happening. It's not happening. But I am looking forward to the other mazes, and I've heard nothing but good things about them. It opens shortly. You are on a more timed slot to come in as well. I've gone for the 6:45 slot. There's a little bit of a distance from my home, this one, so if I can get in, get things done, get out, much the better, to be honest with you. So yeah, the earlier time slot is what I've gone for, and that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. But time slots are booked throughout the evening, and you will 100% have to book online before arriving at Xtreme. Now, a few things to note actually, because Twin Lakes obviously is a family theme park, which operates Xtreme Scream Park, and you'll see that you know, they suffered a really bad fire. I think it was an arson as well a few years, well, I say a few years back. I think it was the beginning of last year. So when we came last year, this was sort of just a box area, and it has been completely rebuilt and redone up now with brand new facilities and entrance. I still have to see a massive Twin Lakes sign over all of this, but it's a nice entrance, and they have, you know, lovely theme in here as well. It's about half an hour till we get let in. It's not that busy yet. There are people in the car park, but there's no one queuing. So yeah, I don't know how busy it's going to be today. So if you are coming, make sure you book. Make sure you book online. Book in plenty of time. But soon we will go in, and the 4 mazes, including a new one. I can't wait to get in. This is the end of Ash Hell. I have to say, I haven't seen much sanitizer around. Now then, I don't know whether you'll be able to see me. We have this problem every single year. But that was Hoodoo Voodoo, and no, I know what we said at the front. I wasn't going to go through it. However, I was first in queue. First in queue. Let's get under the light. So I decided it would be safe. Park obviously hasn't been open all week. It hasn't been open for Halloween since Sunday. So anything that could have been contagious in there wouldn't have been. So I decided that as I was right at the front, first person through, that it would be safe to do so. And I have to say, I love that maze. A couple of years back, it was our favourite maze. We just adore it. It's blindfolds this year. Single-use blindfolds is what the park have said. And you still give them back midway, but obviously rather than someone ripping them off you, you are asked to remove them. I don't think the rope area has changed that much. There's a lot of fabric on the wall. There's a horrible step down into soft ground. I have to say, it felt bigger than ever. I have kind of hurt my ankle very slightly on it. and then once it's off, you then walk through the rest of the maze. You've got like a graveyard scene, you've got kind of an indoor wooden area, Hoodoo Voodoo sort of area, dare I say, a sort of a voodoo dolls and things. And the ending has changed very, very slightly, because rather than just walking around the cauldron, which you used to do, the room now fills with smoke as you approach. So the chances of you seeing a jump scare, zero, absolutely zero. And I will say, got me good and proper. However, we have, this is the new maze for this year, replacing the Stilton Hall Hotel and Spa, is the Belvoir Manor. It looks like it's been extended at the front, actually. So we found the entrance. This is the new maze for 2020. Was Stilton Hall Hotel, is now Belvoir Manor. It's got a whole new entrance bit at the front here, which wasn't there last year. I really can't wait to experience this one. This was an amazing maze over the previous years. One of our favourite Stilton Hall Hotel, just sort of goes on forever. Some real tight rooms, some real scares in there. Fingers crossed it's going to follow suit, but it'd be interesting to see exactly how different it is for this season. Let's get inside. Xtreme Scream Park. As you can see, we have rushed around to do the mazes rather than just kind of filming as we go. Now then, Hoodoo Voodoo, the Village, the Pie Factory, the Penitentiary, and Belvoir Manners. With Belvoir Manners being the brand new maze for 2020. So let's go through them. We started going through them. I'm really hoping you can see me. I have no idea if you can or not. I don't know if you can. But we have this problem every year. The lighting in the park is mood lighting. It's not bad, it's mood lighting. It's exactly what it should be. Now then, we started talking about Hoodoo Voodoo. I love Hoodoo Voodoo, and we weren't going to go on it because of potential, you know, we were worried. I won't lie to you, I was worried about going on it, but we were first in line, so we decided that we would indeed go on Hoodoo Voodoo. And it was worth it. Swap your hood for a blindfold. They are, according to the park, one use blindfolds. From these, you kind of walk through, you follow the rope steam first. I have to say the drop down into the soft part has really hurt my ankle, and I've hurt my ankle again since as well. I can't say I'm all that happy, to be honest with you. It did seem a long way down, and it did really take me by surprise, and it has hurt. That's it. Once you take the mask off, you kind of then head round into the rest of the maze. The rest of the maze is made up of some, you know, wonderful things that we explained. But one thing I forgot to mention, of course, I don't know how I forgot it, is the tunnel. The tunnel in there, the spinning tunnel, is something else. It really is something else. Really fast spinning. You always have an actor in there as well, which kind of keeps you in there probably longer than what you want to be in there, to be perfectly honest with you. And yeah, disorientating. You come off that tunnel thinking that you've actually been spinning with it. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Really love Hoodoo Voodoo. As I did say, it was our favourite maze a couple of years back when it first opened. I don't know if it was first or second year it opened, it did make our favourite maze. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Now moving on, we decided to then do, so we decided to head around the corner and do the new maze next. Found some better light. So yeah, the second one we decided to go through was Belvoir Manners, which is the brand new attraction for 2020. Now this was Stilton Hall and Hotel, and it has been some massive changes in there. There are one or two scenes that are recognisable, but this used to be, I think, a 68 room hotel, top and bottom. So it used to have a second floor. Now, first thing to notice is the floor's gone. The second floor has completely gone, been completely removed. As to a lot of the memorable scenes, including the teddy bear, that also includes the bondage room, which was always a favourite, gone. It has been extended very slightly at the front. So at the front now, there's a new sort of entrance area, and there are some really stunning scenes in there. And I mean really stunning scenes. The mazes throughout are using far more animatronics than what they've ever used. And it's not a bad thing, because obviously they're trigger censored. If you don't look for the trigger sensors and you don't know where they're coming from, and then they work really well. And there's a couple where you, in there in particular, where you didn't know whether or not they were actually animatronics or whether they were people, until really it was too late and it ended up a jump scare. And one that really stood out there for me was the guy being electrocuted. So there's a few scenes, you know, the whole thing is like a manor house. It's not much different, in honesty, to what it was, really. But the one scene where the guy's getting electrocuted and it's throwing himself around, you're thinking that's an amazing animatronic, and then he just sort of lunges towards you, not too close, but lunges towards you. It really got me, it really got me. And you know, one of the scenes they've used before is when you're walking past, like, I think it's shower curtains, don't get me wrong, but it's like a shower scene when you go down, they put some Perspex glass up, they appear out of nowhere, bang on the glass, and yeah, it's game over, it's game over. The detail on the theme is superb, absolutely incredible, and it's kind of thing we expect to find at Xtreme Scream Park, to be perfectly honest with you. I wouldn't expect to find anything less in there. So yeah, really enjoyed it, really enjoyed it. We are going to talk about it more at a later date, actually. When the close season hits, we're going to be starting up our new podcast, and we're going to be talking about the mazes, and we're going to be talking about basically the whole year as we go on, and that'll be available to keep an eye on the channel soon. But we don't want to ruin it yet. It's quite early in the season. We appreciate people to be coming down, but the Manor House is a total change, near total change, with some wonderful scenes and some wonderful frights and some incredible animatronics along the way. But you'll see some old favourites. For those that are like Stilton Hall Hotel, you'll see some old favourites. There is no second floor in the end. There's a beautiful, massive sort of ending with where you can see the floor's been taken out, where there's a person dangling down someone's head on a fishing stick. Yeah, really good, really good. Now then, this is where the evening turned. Really sadly, this is where the evening turned. So from there, we went to the Penitentiary. As far as I'm aware, it's still called Ash Hell Penitentiary, but it's printed Penitentiary on here. And you know, I've always praised the Penitentiary. I think the lights in there are incredible. I really genuinely think the lights there are incredible. So you're effectively walking through a penitentiary, an asylum sort of, you know, there's escaped people at the beginning. You're walking through, you know, open areas of it, kitchens and things like that, before going into the cells. Now, we did have an incident in there, and we had a really unfortunate incident. Needless to say, it's completely ruined our night, totally ruined our night. And that's all we're going to say on it. In terms of Ash Hell Penitentiary, I have to be honest, you know, one thing that's noted in there that's different is there is no crawling section anymore. Crawling section's been taken out from where people used to kind of come out of you where the barrels are. That's no longer there. You just kind of walk through, which I'm not too surprised about, to be perfectly honest with you. It kind of makes sense. It kind of makes sense. And we've said before, when it first opened, there weren't loads of green lights. And I know they're fire exit lights, but there weren't loads of green lights shining the way. And I actually think the maze has now run its course. And it won't be a popular decision. I know it won't. People love Ash Hell Penitentiary, and it's why a lot of people say, yes, this is the scary one, this is the scary one. But I think it's run its course. I love the lighting in there, and I'd like to see it dark again with just that lighting. I don't think we are. I think the maze has run its course. So there were two more mazes on here, but the problem was, I won't lie to you, at this point, it was kind of game over. I haven't enjoyed the last couple of mazes. So I am going to go around now, and I'm going to show you the rest of the park before we discuss the other couple of mazes. The village being one of our favourites. But yeah, the evening hasn't gone quite according to plan. Also as well, Excalibur is open. So I think we're going to go and head on Excalibur for the first time. It's not something we've done before. I think we've done the teacups before, but we've never gone Excalibur. So we're going to wander over to Excalibur, and that's going to be our next stop before we show you some of the festivities that are going around, some of the other things the park's got on, before going through the other two mazes and giving our final thoughts on it.
How's it going? You having a good night?
Yep.
You like the spider?
Very good, isn't it?
Let's go, guys, let's go.
Oh, there you go, $10.
Let's go.
I don't know what to say to that. Let me put a parental advisory at the beginning of this video, just in case I didn't. He's a bit full on that one. I'll wait for the fire breather. It's always a good show. So this is the arena area where a lot of the kind of action happens. You've got all the food outlets here, you've got the shop over there as well, some photo opportunities, and of course the fire breather. It is worth noting this year there's no alcohol being served at the park, and no, you cannot bring it in, but you shouldn't really need to be honest with you. Now last year we had a little live band down here. Beef burgers, by the way, donuts and coffee. Last year they had a live band down here, but I don't think they have. Well, they certainly haven't tonight. It may be to obviously stop the crowd. So we've got some mannequins on here that are pretending to sing or do something. It still looks set up, in fairness. It does still look set up. So perhaps at the weekends they do indeed have shows. Now then, while we're under some light, so our second and final maze was the village, which we've just pictured behind us there, and it is literally behind us now. Now the village is one of those really unique mazes that you just don't see anywhere else, and we said when we went to Fort Park that, you know, the crows there just seem to be based on this. This is just seems to have set so much of a trend in terms of you know, different kind of scares, and the village is really odd. So you know, you walk in, you walk through people's houses, you know, you get greeted along the way before walking through like a garage, you then walk through like an outhouse, you then walk through the school. The school is just terrifying, absolutely terrifying. Whoever thought that up really needs help, to be honest with you. They really need help, but it works on so many levels. Just unbelievable. Works on so many levels. And you know, exiting there as well, with it just always reminds me, you've got the sinks where the children would wash their hands, and there's a teddy bear picture on the wall saying please wash your hands. It is creepy as. Now in between as well, all the kind of scenes, if you will, you have a little walk through outside through the forest. There are scares out there as well. There are people coming out of trees, and there's people with werewolf dogs as well, which kind of come out at you, as well as some animatronics coming through the bushes. So you know, you're not ever left without. You know, from heading up to the tunnel, you head into sort of it's a hospital area, and there was a new, I don't know whether it's new or whether or not we've just been unlucky the previous years, but there was a new thing in there which I don't remember seeing before, and that was a lady with the baby. So once you get up there, there is a lady with a baby in her hands, and the baby is eating a dead body. I don't remember it happening. I just don't remember it happening. I remember the baby animatronic just afterwards coming up, but I don't remember it happening at all. I am keeping an eye out behind me here, just in case. You never really know at these places. And I don't remember it happening at all, and it was really disturbing. Really disturbing, but brilliant at the same time. From here, of course, you enter the famous, and I think it is famous now for those scare fanatics that travel the UK, the church at the end, the Scarecrow Church. And I will say the maze was exquisite up to then, as it always is. Good jump scares, good, you know, use again of animatronics and props and scenery, which just work. The ending is a little bit weaker this year, and I think that's because they haven't got as many actors in there because of the ongoing pandemic. They haven't got as much going on, and it's a real shame. It does hurt the maze a little bit. It really does. You know, my suggestion would have been to take out, you know, they've got rows and rows and rows of crows. You know, it would have been to take some of those out and then replace it with actors, so actors can run up and down when safe, but sit maybe with their head down and be out of the way for when people walk past. Would have been my suggestion. I won't lie to you, that would have been my suggestion. But still, the village is an exquisite maze. It really is. And I genuinely think with, you know, tweaks here and there, it can only get better. Now, the final one was the Pie Factory. The Pie Factory was, you know, it's been a staple of the park for many years. You're going in there and you are the fresh meat. So you go in there and you meet the pigs, you then meet, you know, you go into the kitchen. There's lots of loud noises, lots of bangings, and of course it ends with a chainsaw and chop up. You know, we don't have a lot more else to say about the Pie Factory. I think it's an all good round scare. You know, it even starts off outside and you walk past the barn and you know something's going to happen, but you don't know whether it's going to come from the caravan from the left or whether or not it's going to come from the barn on the right. And it has varied for previous years. This year it come from the barn, and it did get me. It did get me good and proper. You know, and the maze is tight. It is tight. It's really good. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. We're kind of approaching the end of this now. We have managed to do all the mazes in just over an hour, which is, I think, even a record for us, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't think we've ever managed to do that. Usually we're here for hours. We've just been up there and you've just seen me picture the village. I don't know whether you can see it on the GoPro. It's always been dark here, and you know, the queue was massive, absolutely massive. Really hit it at a good time, and the park is only getting busier. So there is some entertainment on. There is the fire eaters on. You know, I'm not hanging around any longer, unfortunately, due to the incident in Ashhill. I'm not hanging around any longer. I am going to call it a day, but we'll take a few more shots on the way out. I will summarise when we get outside. I do worry that one of these was going to come alive when I did this. And there is Ashhill, and as we said, you know, when we say about the signs being updated, you know, this one still says it has a tunnel, which it didn't. So I do think the sign should have been updated for this year. Just help everyone, just to help everyone. Xtreme Scream Park 2020. It is open. It is open for Halloween, and we've had an incredible night. Generally, I've had an incredible night at the park. We've gone through the mazes and what we liked about them, and they are, you know, they are second to none. The scenery and the detail are second to none. So let me first say that the entrance to the park was brilliant. Absolutely no problems. It's queued nicely. It was nicely social distance. We were temperature checked before we entered. Been given a pen on my way out. It's just rattling now. I wonder what it was. It was socially distanced perfectly. You know, there's been sanitizer available from the sort of entrance area, but all the ones at the exit have been sort of missing, which is a bit weird. But we've been able to get it. I'd like to have seen a few more around. Staff have been incredible. Staff have been really good, really engaging, and the security they're bringing as well have been really engaging, and the safety announcements have been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Maze wise, really enjoyed Hoodoo Voodoo, and of course we weren't going to do Hoodoo Voodoo, and I did say we weren't going to do Hoodoo Voodoo, and we did have a reason for it. However, we were first in line. You know, the park has been open for a couple of days, so we felt really safe on doing it, and I'm pleased we did. It's been one of my favourite mazes, and it maintains it's still one of my favourite mazes, undoubtedly. Probably one of the best mazes I'll go in this year, given what's actually open. From there we did the new Belvoir Manor. I really enjoyed that, really enjoyed the changes in that. And it's good to see as well that rather than just rebranding a maze, we've seen it before at other parks where you walk back through and it looks absolutely identical, completely stripped out, pretty much. Few scenes you'll recognise, but pretty stripped out and started again. And it is really, really good. Really, really scary. It's got some wonderful moments. Yeah, really good. Highly recommended, absolutely highly recommended. The length of it was, you know, the length of Stilton Hall could really add to some scares and probably increase throughput a bit as well. So it's a bit of a shame they've taken away upstairs, but I'm sure they've got reasons behind it. And I will say it was very tight in previous years, given the restrictions, particularly this year. You know, the rooms definitely felt more open than what they did. From there, went to Ashell Penitentiary. I've always appreciated the lighting in Ashell Penitentiary. I think it is incredible the way the lights on, off, just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. There was an incident in there which I'm not going to go into, which has put a real damper on our night. And you know, Ashell, I've never found Ashell that scary. I've really appreciated the scenery and the theme behind it, and indeed how well the actors work in there. But I've never found it that scary, and I think more can be done with it. And I think it's probably would be my next for an upgrade, not a retheme, but an upgrade. We then moved on to the village, had a wonderful run through the village, and it just creeps me the hell out. It really does creep me out, the village, completely. No questions asked, it's a creepy maze. The scarecrow section at the end probably wasn't the finale that it has been in previous years, but don't let that put you off. The rest of the maze and the length of the maze is brilliant. And then we finished off with the pie factory, which has always been an absolute winner. It's a really good night, Xtreme Scream Park. No complaints. We didn't queue to get on anything, to be honest with you. The park has got busier now, but we got an early slot and we haven't queued to get on anything. Get yourself to Xtreme Scream Park, because I'm telling you now, this place is stunning, stunning. It is probably, and I think we vote every single year, the best scare attraction we have in the UK, and this year's no different. This year's no different. And that's not just because everywhere's closed as well. This year is no different. If you're up north, or you're willing to travel or able to travel, Xtreme Scream Park should be on your radar. Let's not forget fire entertainment. Let's not forget, you know, the people with the spider. I don't know what he was doing. There's a couple of rides open as well, on the teacups and Excalibur. Lots of scenery, food, you know, plenty to do up here. It's not just about the mazes, but the mazes are all excellent. Book in advance, make sure you get your ticket. Thank you very much for joining us today from Xtreme Scream Park. We will be back next year, 100% be back next year, and we hope you'll join us.